Hi guys, welcome to week 7. So for week 7, you have 3.10 and 4.10. And you'll have the review for the final, and then your signature assignment is due this week. So you guys should have already started the signature assignment. So let's go into week 7, and I'll just kind of go over that. So you've got your lectures, and so these are the last lectures of the course, and then it'll be your last quiz. There's a couple of spotlight videos here on some artists, Genelesky, and then Hatshepsut, the female ancient Egypt ruler who ruled for 2 decades, and so it's a really interesting video. So then those are spotlight videos, the artist. Then you have quiz 11, and then your signature assignment. So remember that your signature assignment has to go back to submit into the Dropbox is in your content menu. So if you scroll down here, and you will see signature assignment right in here. So you're going to click on that to submit your signature assignment. So on here, I'm just showing you what the 4 parts you have to do. So actually, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the signature assignment so that you guys can see where you're going. So if you go into signature assignment, you're going to click on there, and this is your Dropbox right here, right? And so you have 4 parts to this activity. You have your observation, analysis, interpretation, and judgment. So part 1, you have to choose an artist, and then just a single example of their artwork, right? And then you're going to put the information for part 1, the name of the artist, the origin, dates of birth, death and birth, then the art chosen that you got. So provide the title, the year created, dimensions, media, right? And so for example, Boy with Apple, the year it was made, 2014, the dimensions, 18 by 24 inches, and then the media, oil on canvas, right? So that's what you would put. Your art movement associated with this work. So look through for the word and the information. It'll usually give you like if it's like a surrealist painting or a modern art or a rococo painting, and so you look for that, and then give a description of the work. It's visual description and what we're looking at. So in this section right here, right, it should be a detailed visual description. So like telling me everything that you see on the piece, right? So again, just describing what you see, not your thoughts on it, not your interpretation, just what we're looking at, right? So if we were looking at a boy sitting on the center of the canvas, eating a red apple, wearing jeans and a white shirt. In the background, you see large trees. If you look further back into the painting, there are, I don't know, cows grazing on the grass. And then like talk about the colors, like, you know, the background, it has the green grass. The boy is sitting on a gray rock. So just like giving visual description of what we are looking at, right? And then once you have that, then you'll go to part 2. With part 2, you're going to begin by inserting the picture, and so you attach the picture into the thread, and then do a formal analysis of the piece. So here's where you're talking about the techniques that we talked about throughout the course. So the different elements and principles. So talking about balance, directional line, color, contrast, and stuff like that. So you're going to put that into your analysis here, right? So what is the medium used to create the work? So was it oil, paint, acrylic? What's the characteristic of the medium? So if the artist was using charcoal, right, was it a very dark contrast work? Does it create a chiaroscuro, right? And so does the media, how does the media affect the work, right? And then how did the medium along with the visual elements enhance the work? So now we're talking about how the elements and then also the media help the work, right? And so for example, the steel allowed the work to be monumental in scale, right? Or the clay the clay the clay in the sculpture helped the work become very intimate, small, right? And so just kind of like give details about that. Or maybe the media, like maybe an artist used a certain media that has a lot of texture, and you can, talk about that the texture allowed for the viewer to feel a certain sensation or whatever. And then maybe it's the atmospheric perspective that really gave the painting a sense of depth, right? And so how did the medium along with the visual elements help the painting, right? And then so complete part two with an analysis of different ways the artist used the visual elements such as color, contrast, directional lines, and stuff like that. And how do the elements help the viewer understand the work, right? So example, because the work has is an installation, the viewer was able to experience every detail as they walk through the gallery. Or the artist used the color red to give an overall feeling of anger and aggression, right? And so, and again, remember that color associations are different. So red might be another feeling, but just so that you can get an idea, right? So this part of it should be a minimum of 5 sentences in addition to questions for part 2. So make sure that you answer these questions on top, right? And then give the analysis, which should be at least a minimum of 5 sentences. And then part 3, you're going to discuss the ideas or the content of the work, right? And so start with the questions. Why do you think that, what was the artist's motivation for the work, right? And so was it beauty? Was it religion, spirituality? Maybe it's a social message. What was the message, right? And then explain why you think that cultural and historical background of the artist might have influenced, right? So think about the artist that you're talking about and look at their background, right? And see how their background could have affected the work, right? And so, for example, Ai Weiwei was a Chinese artist, right? And so growing up in China, he was surrounded by a lot of these like ancient temples and that were designed to be destroyed. And so as he grew up, he's seeing this and it affects his work, right? And so just kind of look at the artist's background. Where are they from? Maybe that makes a connection to that. What conclusions do you reach about the artist's time period and his views in the world, right? So if you're talking about an artist that's like in the 2000s, right? How does this time period affect their views in the world, right? And so just kind of make a connection to the different time periods. Some things that you want to think about is like maybe politics, race, gender, politics, and stuff like that to make a connection to the artist's time period. Which other artists does your chosen artist share similar concepts, right? Approaches a subject matter or uses materials discussed in class. How are they similar? So you're just going to compare 2 different artists. So the artist that you chose and then another artist that we've talked about in class, right? And so there's always an answer to this question. So spend some time thinking about the different art movements, culture, style, different techniques, and see if you can find the 2 artists to compare, right? So it could be the use of material, it could be their technique, how they paint, how they sculpt, maybe the material, or maybe it's even like the concept, their ideas are the same, then you can use that to answer that question. And then part 4, the last part, so this is where it's the judgment, where you're going to talk about the work in itself, right? So why do you think this work has intrinsic value? So in other words, like, does it have any value to people, right? Not just like money value, but can we gain something from this, some kind of knowledge? And then what is the value you find in the work? So if it has value, right, what is that value? Is it a beautiful artwork that communicates beauty and communicates something like that? Or is it more about maybe it's conveying an important social issue? Maybe it's influencing us to think about something and look at the world differently, right? Maybe, or maybe it's telling us to make a connection to our world, or maybe just kind of reaffirming either a religious belief, or making us question different things, right? And so what is that value that it has? And what is that artist trying to convey with it? And then, do you think that the work has benefit for others? So can people have, does it have benefit? You know, do you think that the work communicates an idea that is going to be of value for others, right? That they can learn something from it, that they can take something from it. And then if found the work was unsuccessful, like if you think that, well, this work wasn't really unsuccessful, and then just explain it because maybe the elements were used, it was a poor use of elements, or the idea wasn't really clearly conveyed, right? So just you can say that if it was unsuccessful or successful. And then the end, just briefly discuss why you chose the work, right? What was it about the work that you made you choose it, right? And so there's no right or wrong answer in this, but it has to be more than I liked it because it was cool, or because it was nice, or because it was pretty. Provide more information, like, why did you like this piece? Why did you select it, right? And so was it, did you have a connection to it emotionally? Was it like a personal thing? Was it the concept? Was it about history that you made that connection to? At least there should be a minimum of 5 sentences, right? So that is your signature assignment, and it is due on October 9th at 11:59, which is on Sunday. So just make sure that you get the signature assignment. And so remember that you have to click out here, and then it takes you here, and this is your Dropbox, right? And so when you click on here, you can scroll down, and it'll have your browse local files, and then submit your files here. And then just make sure that you hit the submit button. Don't forget that. You can save a draft and just kind of keep working on it as you go, but just remember that when you are finished, to submit the actual finished piece. So that is your signature assignment. And let me just go back to week 7. So yeah, the due date for this for these assignments are October 9th. And then don't forget that quiz, and your review is in the bottom. So it's a Quizlet, and all you have to do is click on the review link, click on the link itself, and it'll take you to Quizlet, right? And so you can use the flashcards, the test, learn, match, and this will help you for that exam. And so just remember that the signature assignment is what really weighs more on your grade. This exam, not so much, but so just make sure that you do get that signature assignment taken care of, and take your time with it. It is due on Sunday. If you guys have any questions for this week, please email me. I am going to open week 8 this week, and I'll open it early for you so that if you're ready for the exam, you can go ahead and take it. But yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and open week 8 for you as well, so that for you, those of you that are trying to kind of wrap up this course, it's open for you.